Before moving the conversation forward, one final recap is essential. Throughout this entire series, we were not searching for mystery or miracles. We were not trying to understand Tantra as some secret power, but as a journey of the human mind. We saw that, in Vedāchāra, the mind looks for safety in rules. In Vaishnavāchāra, it looks for safety in relationships and emotional bonding. In Shaivāchāra, it begins to look at itself for the first time. In Dakshināchāra, it learns to handle desires and impulses with awareness. In Vāmāchāra, it has an honest encounter with its shadow. And in Siddhantāchāra, the inner conflict itself slowly begins to settle. Today, we arrive at the final stage, which the Kaulāchāra Tantra calls the highest Achara. Today's subject is Kaulāchāra. If the entire journey so far had to be summed up in one sentence, it would be this. Kaulāchāra is the state where nothing is left to be fixed. This may sound strange, but that is exactly its depth. The Kaulāchāra mind does not fight rules, does not cling to relationships, does not get stuck in observing itself, does not suppress desires, does not fear the shadow, and does not perform non-duality. This mind simply lives. But this is not ordinary living. It is living with complete presence. Kaulāchāra is not a special dress, an identity, or a label. It does not live in an ashram. It is just as natural in the marketplace. In the Tantric tradition, it is said that Kaulāchāra is the state where the world and liberation are no longer separate. In psychological terms, this is a fully integrated personality. Let me explain this with a very simple example. There is a person. He works, maintains relationships, makes mistakes, laughs, gets tired. But inside him, there is no war going on. If someone praises him, he feels happy, but he does not become bound by it. If someone criticizes him, he listens, but he does not break. If sorrow comes, he feels the sorrow, but he does not think, why does this always happen to me? Because now, life is no longer a personal story for him. It becomes a flow. In Kaulāchāra, a person does not look spiritual, they look ordinary, and that is the biggest sign. No display, no teaching, no attempt to fix anyone, because nothing feels incomplete anymore. Tantra is very clear about this. Kaulāchāra is not a goal, it is not an achievement, it is a natural settling. When a person has fully lived every level, the final level happens on its own. That is why Tantra warns that do not imitate Kaulāchāra, because a person who looks ordinary on the outside is deeply complete on the inside. Now look back at the entire series. Vedāchāra gave us stability. Vaishnavāchāra taught us love. Shaivāchāra made us aware. Dakshināchāra taught us restraint. Vāmāchāra made us honest. Siddhantāchāra brought quietness. And Kaulāchāra frees us. But freedom does not mean running away. Freedom means not being bound even while living within bonds. And now, the most important conclusion of this entire series. Tantra does not say that every person must reach Kaulāchāra. Tantra says that every person must live their current stage honestly. Living in Vedāchāra is not a crime. Living in Vaishnavāchāra is not a weakness. Stopping at Shaivāchāra is not a failure. The problem begins only when we pretend to be at a stage other than the one we are actually in. That is where hypocrisy is born. That is where confusion begins. The purpose of this entire series was not to change you, not to prove you higher or lower. The only purpose was this, that you are able to see where you are standing right now. Because in Tantra, the next step opens only when the present one is fully understood. If you have listened carefully to all 7 videos, you may be feeling that these were not ideas from a scripture. They were layers of your own life. And if that is true, then that itself is the success of this journey. We will continue to explore such themes ahead. Tantra, psychology, consciousness, shadow, freedom, all without fear, without mystery, spoken directly in the language of life. If you are interested in such deep, honest and grounded conversations, stay connected with the channel, subscribe, and share this series with those who want to understand something within, not just believe. These 7 videos are not an ending, they are a beginning. And on this journey, you are now no longer alone.